The city hummed with its usual midnight rhythm. Cars rushing down slick streets, neon signs flickering against wet sidewalks, skyscrapers glowing like titans in the dark. But inside Alina's small apartment, the world felt still. She was pacing again. Her thoughts raced in 1,000 directions, looping back to the same impossible question: what was she doing? It had been nearly 2 weeks since Adrian Cole had walked, quite literally, into her life. 2 weeks of late-night tea, walks under the city skyline, dinners that blurred the lines between strangers and something else entirely. 2 weeks of laughter she hadn't realized she'd been starving for. But it had also been 2 weeks of anxiety, whispers in the hallways, suspicious stares from neighbors, and the sharp memory of the man in the expensive suit, Richard, who had confronted Adrian like a wolf circling prey. You don't belong in his world, her mind whispered cruelly. And he doesn't belong in yours. The knock on her door made her jump. She froze, heart thudding, then opened it to find Adrian standing there. He wasn't smiling. His jaw was tight, his eyes shadowed. "Adrian," she whispered, "can I come in?" Something in his tone made her step aside without question. He entered, shoulders heavy as though he carried the city on his back. He sat down without ceremony, running a hand through his hair. "What happened?" Elena asked, worry spiking. He hesitated, then met her gaze. "Richard happened. My board is nervous. They think I'm distracted. That I'm making reckless choices." Her chest tightened. "Because of me." He didn't deny it. "Elena." His voice softened. "I don't regret it, any of it, but I won't lie to you. Being with me comes with consequences. My world is unforgiving." She sank into the couch across from him, staring at her hands. "And my world is small. I don't belong in your circles, Adrian. I don't wear gowns or drink champagne. I sketch on cheap paper and live paycheck to paycheck. People like Richard are right. I don't fit." Adrian leaned forward, eyes blazing with something fierce. "I don't care what they think. I care about you." The intensity of his words silenced her. For a long moment, she could only stare, her throat tight. But before either could speak again, Adrian's phone buzzed violently. He glanced at it, expression darkening. "It's Richard," he muttered. "Again." "Answer it," Elena said quietly. He did. "Richard, I told you." Adrian's face went rigid. He listened, color draining from his features. "What?" His voice dropped. "You wouldn't dare." Elena's stomach knotted. "What is it?" she asked when he hung up. Adrian's jaw clenched. He threatened to leak a story to the press. "About us. He'll make it look like some scandal. That I'm sneaking around with a woman half my fortune, that I've lost focus. He says it'll tank investor confidence." Elena's breath caught. "He's going to ruin you." Adrian's eyes softened as he looked at her. "No, he's going to try to ruin us." The days that followed were suffocating. Richard hadn't bluffed. Whispers spread online. Tabloids ran blurry photos of Adrian entering her building. Headlines screamed of a mystery woman distracting the city's golden mogul. Elena's inbox flooded with hateful messages from strangers. Gold digger, opportunist, scandal maker. She stopped checking after the 3rd day. Her art commissions dried up almost overnight. Clients backed out, afraid of negative association. Bills piled on her kitchen counter like quiet threats. One evening, after yet another neighbor avoided her in the hallway, she collapsed on her couch, tears spilling unchecked. She had never asked for this. She hadn't asked for Adrian Cole to walk into her life. She hadn't asked to be dragged into a world where every step was judged, every breath watched. When Adrian knocked that night, she didn't answer at first. But his voice, low, almost pleading, broke through. "Elena, please, open the door." She did, and when he saw her red eyes, his heart broke. "I'm so sorry," he whispered, stepping inside. She shook her head. "Adrian, this is destroying my life. I can't even work. My name is being torn apart by people who don't even know me." "I'll fix it," he said desperately. "How?" Her voice cracked. "By throwing more money at it. By issuing some statement about how I'm not a gold digger but just a poor little artist who caught your attention." He flinched. "Elena." She wrapped her arms around herself, trembling. "I don't want to be your scandal, Adrian. I don't want to be the reason your empire burns. And I don't want to lose myself in a world that's ready to chew me up." For the first time, Adrian had no answer. He, the man who always had a plan, who could negotiate billion-dollar deals without blinking, stood utterly powerless. And in that silence, Alina's heart made the cruelest choice of all. "I think you should go," she whispered. His eyes widened, shattered. "No, don't do this." Tears blurred her vision. "I have to. Before we both lose everything." Adrian reached for her hand, but she pulled away. He froze, then nodded slowly, as if each movement cost him a piece of his soul. "I'll go," he said hoarsely. "But I won't stop fighting for us." And then he was gone. Weeks passed. Elena tried to return to normal, but normal felt impossible. The building still whispered, clients stayed away, and her sketchbooks gathered dust. At night, she stared at her ceiling, remembering the way Adrian had looked at her, as if she was the only thing in a world full of flashing lights and hollow applause. She missed him, terribly, but she told herself she had done the right thing. She had spared him, she had spared herself, until the night she turned on the news. Breaking story, the anchor announced. Adrian Cole, CEO of Cole Enterprises, announced today he is stepping down from his position effective immediately. Sources confirm tension with his longtime partner Richard Lang over personal matters. Elena sat bolt upright. The screen shifted to footage of Adrian at a press conference, standing tall despite the storm. Cameras flashed, reporters shouted, but his voice was calm, resolute. "For years, I have built and expanded Cole Enterprises. But I have come to realize that success without authenticity is failure in disguise. I refuse to let my life be dictated by fear, gossip, or manipulation. I am stepping away to protect what truly matters, integrity, and the people I care about." The clip ended, but Elena barely breathed. The people I care about. He had meant her. Her heart thundered. She couldn't sit still. Without thinking, she grabbed her coat and bolted into the night. The rain was pouring when she reached his building. She didn't care. She pounded on the door of his penthouse, soaked through, until it swung open. Adrian stood there. His tie was gone, his shirt undone at the collar, his eyes tired but burning with the same fire she remembered. "Elena," he breathed. She launched herself forward, into his arms, into the warmth she denied herself for too long. Tears mixed with rain on her cheeks. "I'm sorry," she whispered against his chest. "I was scared. I thought leaving was protecting you. But I was wrong. I don't want safety if it means losing you." His arms tightened around her, as though he'd never let go again. "You don't have to be sorry," he said fiercely. "You were right to be scared. My world is brutal, but I would walk away from all of it. Every dollar, every title, if it meant keeping you." She pulled back just enough to see his face. "But you did walk away." A small, wry smile curved his lips. "I realized I don't need an empire to be whole. I just need you." And then, for the first time, their lips met, not in hesitation, not in confusion, but in the kind of kiss that sealed promises unspoken. Months later, the world had moved on to new scandals, new headlines. Adrian was no longer the city's golden mogul, but he didn't care. He and Elena lived quietly, splitting their time between her modest apartment and a cabin he'd bought outside the city where the noise couldn't reach them. Her art flourished again, infused with new life. She held her first small gallery showing, and Adrian stood by her side, not as a CEO, not as a story in the tabloids, but as the man who had once walked into the wrong apartment and found the right woman. As the last guests left the gallery that night, Elena turned to him, eyes shining. "You know," she teased softly, "all of this started because you can't tell the difference between the 19th and 21st floor." He laughed, the sound warm and free. "Best mistake I ever made." She smiled, slipping her hand into his. "Best mistake we ever made." And as they walked out together into the quiet night, the city no longer felt so overwhelming. Because in the chaos of wrong doors and wrong turns, they had found the only thing that truly mattered. Each other.